You
Hi,
bet.
this is Lee Thurman. I'm tickled today to be visiting with a friend of mine, Todd Brewster. And Todd is a smart guy. I tell you what, he did something I couldn't do in school. He specialized in mathematics. Anybody that can get a degree in mathematics is a smart guy. And Todd is a mathematician, and he is also a life insurance agent. And I'm going to let Todd tell you how he made that transition from one to the other. Todd, thanks for joining me today. So how did you move from being a mathematician into life insurance?
Well, it's fun because I used to teach math in college and enjoyed that. And then when I graduated, I went into the advertising world, and then I decided on my own media buying service. I started in 1986 and became probably the most efficient media buying service in the country. I kept it very small on purpose and did very well and had a very successful career. But along the way, I made several mistakes where I wish I knew about life insurance today what I knew back then. One example was that my business was doing very well. I was constantly making, 300,000 a year consistently, and that's more money than I knew what to do with, more money than I needed. I was very, very happy, had everything doing well. My insurance agent said, well, you need to buy life insurance. Okay, so I went ahead and bought life insurance in case anything happened to me. He said, you know what? You need to buy it on your wife too. And I said, no, wait a minute. I'm a math major. If something happens to my wife, I need a nanny, I need a housekeeper, I need a tutor, maybe some taxi rides. It's going to cost me 35, 40,000 a year. I'll take that out of petty cash. It's not a big deal. So, it turned out that 2 years later, my wife passed away. And you know something? I was right. I was 100% right. It cost me between $35,000 and $40,000. But you know something? What I never figured out is the emotional toll that it took on me. It really, it's something that you just don't want to go through. And my business went from I'm making 300,000 a year to I probably didn't even make 30,000 that year. It was a big thing, and I realized how much of a toll life insurance has. I went ahead and, I was left with two small kids. I went ahead and I remarried. We went ahead, we had a third child. I went to my life insurance agent. I said, you know what? I want to get insurance on my wife, which we did. I said, I want to get it on my children too. He goes, no, no, no. He says, you don't need life insurance on your children because they don't contribute money to the household. Okay, well, no, you don't do that. So what happened was, 4 years later, my child went ahead and passed away. And again, it didn't really cost me that much money. But again, my company went back to 300,000 a year. It went down to probably less than 30,000 a year. So the emotional toll that it takes, I never really thought about. The other thing too, becoming a life insurance agent, is that looking back at my small business, if I had a partner, I'd need a buy-sell agreement, I need an exit strategy, and I need key man insurance. All things that are vital for the successful from a small business. But mainly a small businessman also needs to protect himself. And the main problem that people have today in a marriage or in a business is finances. And that's what destroys a lot of marriages. It destroys small businesses, as you know. When you meet with me, we'll figure out what your needs are. What exactly do you have? Now, you probably have different needs than I have. Everybody has different needs. We'll figure that out together. We'll figure out how much money you can save towards putting it towards life insurance. And then we'll also look at other alternatives and see how, one second, I'm so sorry. And we'll see how, if you cut back here, if you cut back there, if you go ahead and make some compromises, you can go ahead and you can put this much money away on a consistent basis. You do that and you buy an insurance policy You may need to buy some life, some term life, but you definitely need to get a either variable whole life or universal independent. Um, boy, what? A indexed universal life policy. An indexed universal life policy, index means that it's following pretty much what the S&P 500 does. But the difference is that where it's capped, where you don't get as much money as when the market really does tremendous, but the other deal is also capped where you never lose your money with that insurance, an IUL, Indexed Universal Life Policy. So you put money aside, and then when you go to retire, not only do you have life insurance protecting you all the time, but you go to retire, and let's say that you accumulated, $2 million by, through your IUL. Well, the market then all of a sudden, boom, it dives. We have another 2008, the money goes in half. Now, instead of having $1 million to retire on, and then having to wait a few years until it gets back up to 2 million, it stays at 2 million. You do not lose money. So you have that security. And that's why life insurance is the most secure investment you can have. Also during this time period, when you buy IUL, when you get it early enough, it doesn't really cost that much money to add long-term care. Today, what I'm finding out is a lot of people 50, 60 years old, they want to get long-term care. Well, they can't because, they may not be insurable anymore. They have trouble because now long-term care costs a lot of money to get it. If you got it when you're younger, you're protected if anything happens, but the IUL also grows as your life insurance benefit grows. So you take out, maybe a $400,000 policy. By the time you're 65, that policy is worth over $1 million. Your long-term care, you can have like $20,000 a month that you can spend if you need to go to assisted living, or even if you stay at home and you have nurses around the clock. With $20,000, that, right now, that's more than enough money. Who knows what happens when the time to retire? But that's what life insurance does. It gives you peace of mind. It gives you security. Everybody needs to be getting the best policy possible. And as a mathematician, that's what I do. I love numbers. They go ahead and they just compute very easily to me. So I represent a company where we're a broker. So we have many life insurance companies at my fingertips. And the life insurance companies that are best if you buy term insurance, the best if you buy whole life, variable insurance, and IULs. So I go ahead and then, there may be 3 or 4 IULs that are good for you. Well, I go ahead and I match them up. Okay, for your age and your insurability, which is the best one for you? And I go ahead and I look at it and I say, this is the one that is best for you. And that's why it's important that I go ahead and review what you're having, or sit with somebody that who's getting married, somebody who's having children, somebody who's changing the job, because this is what you want. You don't want to get something where you're leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table when you go to retire. You don't want to go to work as a Walmart greeter. You don't want to have to move in with your kids because you can't support yourself. You need to get a firm financial foundation, and that's what I'm doing. I'm Todd Brewster, and I'm with Wealthwave.
Well, Todd, thank you. What a story. I'm so sorry to hear all those traumas that occurred in your life. That's the kind of thing a lot of people just never really think about.
Yeah.
And the financial impact is one thing. Certainly the emotional impact is something a lot of people don't think about. And so there are life insurance policies. I guess the upshot is that you may be financially able to self-insure, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't need insurance, because there are other ramifications to tragedies that happen in your life that insurance can simply help you through.
Well, that's a great point too, Lee, because what I never understood is, why do millionaires buy so much life insurance? it doesn't make any sense. Why do they need it? They have they're leaving a great legacy to their family. Why are they buying more life insurance? What I never realized too was the tax advantages. You don't pay as your IUL grows. Say that you start out at, you bought a $400,000 policy that raises to 2 million. You're not paying income tax on that. So you maybe say, well, what does an IUL usually pay? Well, they over the last 40 years, they pay at 8.5%. Oh, wait a minute. I could have bought stocks, bonds, things like that, and I could have got it at 10%. That's fine. But then you figure out you're paying at least 30% income tax on that growth every year as stocks and bonds grow. So if it's at 30%, that 10% is really growing at 7%, where an IUL grows at 8.5%. Now, there are ways about it. There are, you can do things, you can get Roth, you can buy property, different things like that are tax advantages. But a Roth only goes for $6,000. That's why life insurance is so valuable, and especially for small businesses too.
The thing that life insurance really confuses a lot of people. There's so many numbers, and Samuel Clemens said there's lies, damn lies, and statistics. There's so many numbers floating around with life insurance that can confuse you, that it really does take a strong grasp of the numbers to be able to figure it out.
Well, yeah, I'm amazed at, I hear CPAs, I talk to them, and they don't really understand the significance of life insurance, because 40 years ago, when I got out of college, people were talking about, well, you buy term, you invest the difference. Well, that makes a lot of sense, in theory. But what's happening again is I'm meeting 50, 60-year-olds who went ahead, they bought term, and they invested it in toys.
They invested
They don't put it aside. I'm sorry?
Yeah. They invested the difference in the wrong things.
Exactly. You buy what's shiny and bright.
Right. All right. Well, Todd, thank you so much for taking time to
I appreciate it.
put a little better understanding on life insurance. Folks, if you want to have a conversation with Todd, I'm sure he'd be delighted to review your situation and answer any questions that you have about life insurance. And as you can tell, he is particularly well suited to do that. Todd, thanks for your time today.
I appreciate you, Lee. Thank you so much for setting this up.